Ariake starts out as a guy with no real talent. Then one day, he's suddenly thrown out of the hero party. Even after getting kicked out, he doesn't seem too bothered, which really sets off one of the members, Haranoa Vivia. He wants Ariake to realize just how low he's fallen. But instead of being upset, Ariake is actually grateful to Vivia for lifting the weight off his shoulders. Vivia is a true hero, chosen by the sacred sword Langris, and strong enough to take down the demon lord. The rest of the group stands with Vivia, thinking Ariake's calm reaction is disrespectful. Delia, another teammate, reminds Ariake the only reason he was in the group was because they're from the same town. She says he's not even fit to carry their garbage. Delia has the blessed fist skill and can power up her body to charge enemies. Elga, the kingdom's shield, is crazy strong and has the defend of giant skill. Pilala's magic is said to be more powerful than the demon lord's, and she has the ace wizard skill. Alicia, a saint with rare healing and revival powers, also supports Vivia. With Alicia backing her, Vivia has the whole group behind her. Ariake wonders who'd even want a saint, insisting he should be kicked out. When he hears that, Alicia turns her face away, and he can feel the anger coming from her. He doesn't get why she's so cold now, especially after everything they've been through. She used to trail behind him, acting all shy, but now she's a whole different person. They all grew up together in the village of Litond, and that bond is what brought their team together in the first place. Even now, Ariake still can't figure out why they're kicking him out, so he finally asks them straight up. Vivia shouts back that he's worthless. He can't fight or defend, and his only magic is for scouting and healing poison stuff anyone can do. She says his poor instincts just mess things up, and that he's dragging them down. Ariake knows he doesn't have any great powers, but right as he's about to speak up and warn them, Alicia cuts him off. She tells him to leave, saying he doesn't belong in the team. Her presence is so heavy, he can't argue back. So he turns around and leaves, starting his path alone. He thinks back to why he joined their group in the first place. Long ago, he had a dream where a god asked him to stay in the background until the right time came. Now, he decides to head for a place called Alti, a town that's a month away. He walks through forest after forest, but his mind keeps going back to the people he left behind. They always counted on him to organize supplies and handle all the prep work stuff they never liked doing. As he steps out of the forest, sunlight washes over him. He lifts his hand toward the sky. He tries not to think about the others and feels a bit lighter now that he's on his own. Ariake remembers the dream where a god came to him, asking him to support Vivia and the rest or else they'd die young. The god used Ariake's kindness for his own goal. That's when Ariake got the skill backup, which he finds more irritating than useful. But deep down, it's actually a rare and special skill. He can boost weapons and armor, slow or speed up time, enhance healing, and use a bunch of dungeon-based support abilities. He never fought out front, he always helped from behind the scenes. With his judgment skill, he could see others' abilities. But when his own powers were scanned, his real skill didn't appear. Only weak ones showed up. So, using a concealment ability, he hid his skills until they hit a certain level. He can do almost anything, but nobody knows, and that kind of bugs him. Still, he's proud he was able to help and protect them. He figures he was too protective before they kicked him out, but now he feels it's time for them to stand on their own. He hears someone calling out for help. Ariake is shocked that anyone could break through his magic barrier. He asks the voice if it belongs to a human, but the figure doesn't answer. Instead, he begs Ariake to end his life because he's cursed. Ariake refuses, but the voice pleads again, asking to be killed before he loses the pride of his dragon clan. Ariake finds it hard to believe a proud race like dragons would ever ask a human for help. The dragon's voice sounds filled with pain. Still, Ariake doesn't want to grant such a wish without knowing who he really is. But if the dragon were to ask for help, then it would be a different story. Desperate, the voice finally begs for help, and Ariake agrees. He heads toward the source of the voice. Suddenly, a giant centipede appears behind him, but he uses his insect-repelling skill to take care of it. Even now, he isn't sure if the one calling out really is a dragon. When dragons are defeated by a human, they surrender and recognize their strength. Ariake suspects someone else might be controlling the dragon. Soon he reaches a castle's front gates and spots the dead bodies of many men. A barrier surrounds the palace, and Ariake thinks those men were thieves trying to break in, but the barrier killed them. Just then, the corpses begin to move again, rising to their feet. A man appears, and Ariake realizes he's using a necromancer's jewel to control the dead. The man boasts about getting his hands on the necklace, saying he no longer needs thieves and will use the corpses to fight instead. Ariake thinks he's trash for relying on such cheap tricks. Hearing that, the man orders the zombies to attack Ariake. He laughs, calling himself lucky to control the dead as he pleases. But Ariake says he's actually unlucky, he's about to be beaten by his own zombies. Ariake forms a magic circle, casting a restoration skill on the zombies, and they instantly crumble into dust. Shocked, the man asks who Ariake really is. Ariake says he's just a regular guy who got kicked out of the hero party, and was only good at carrying luggage. The man never imagined someone like that could pull off such power. Ariake explains it wasn't magic. It was a restoration skill that returns things to their original form. So the undead turned back into corpses, and their rotten bodies fell apart. The man's never even heard of such a skill before. The zombies begin to crawl toward him, grabbing and pulling him in. Ariake explains why when something turns to dust, there must be a cost to balance the loss. That means the man is finished. He messed with the necromancer's jewel, brought the dead back, and now he's paying the price. The zombies crash into him as Ariake keeps walking toward the castle, not sparing him another look. He's not worth the attention. He stares at the barrier and figures trying to break through it the normal way would just cause trouble. Maybe there's a dungeon inside. So instead, he activates his skill, metamorphose, and changes his body's form. He turns into a mole and starts digging underground. Most barriers don't reach beneath the surface, and whoever built this one probably didn't expect someone to dig under it. Then again, not many people can just turn into a mole. Once inside, he finds the place is huge. No average mid-level adventurer could have gotten this far. In this world, adventurers rank from E up to S and S. The ranks depend on things like combat strength, magic skills, and the level of monsters you've beaten. Most folks are ranked B or lower. A ranks are strong enough to take on demon lords. S ranks are super rare. Both Alicia and Vivia are S rank. Ariake, though, is officially listed as C rank. But that title doesn't mean much to him. The ranking system is broken. It only judges power and flashy spells. His role was to support and give others a chance to shine. People like him don't get noticed in that system. While he's lost in thought, he runs into two monsters guarding the way. They ask if he's come to set free the Red One of Disaster. That throws him off. So now they've got guards too. The monsters suddenly leap at him. He quickly sizes them up. Both are level 60 strong enough to destroy an entire country. Ariake activates his atmosphere skill, creating an invisible wall of air to block their attacks. But the monsters don't care that he's human, they blast through the wall like it's not even there. They both strike at once, and Ariake blocks the hits. Then, in a flash, he disappears and reappears behind them, slicing off one of their heads. The second monster is shocked and asks who he is, stunned that one of the guardians was just defeated. Ariake warns them not to look down on humans. They're not weak. He tells the guardian to open the gate and says the trigger word, useless doll. That makes the monster snap and rush at him. But Ariake had already seen this coming. The moment he set up the atmosphere wall, he had them under his control, trapping them in illusions and making them hit fake targets. He had also compressed the enemy's attack and sent it back using his damage reflection skill. The monster ends up getting taken down by its own strength. Ariake walks up to the gate, which opens to reveal a dungeon inside. Dungeons in this world are like living beings with thoughts of their own. They send monsters to attack intruders and suck up people's magic and energy to grow stronger. They even use treasure chests as bait. When someone goes near one, a monster pops out and attacks. Just like he thought, a monster pops out, and Ariake takes it down with ease. As he moves deeper in, he comes face to face with 3 massive golems made of stone. Taking on all 3 at once is a serious challenge normally. Only an S-rank adventurer could even hope to survive that. But those rankings mean nothing to Ariake. What really catches his attention is the sight of a dragon girl sealed inside a crystal. Nearby, a priest starts boasting about his so-called brilliant plan. He claims he'll use this rare dragon to evolve into a god, and even wants Ariake to praise him for it. But Ariake just gets angry. He can't stand how the priest acts like he's better than everyone while keeping a young girl locked up for so long. He calls him out, saying it's unforgivable, what he did is straight up criminal. The priest acts confused, like capturing a dragon isn't a big deal. Ariake tells him it doesn't matter whether it's a dragon or a kitten, wrong is wrong. But trying to explain that to someone this twisted seems pointless. The priest snaps, yelling that Ariake's insulting him and deserves to die. He charges in, but Ariake easily blocks the attack. The priest assumes Ariake used some kind of barrier and keeps running his mouth. Then a counter-strike shoots past and slices his cheek. When the smoke clears, Ariake stands tall, completely unharmed and not even holding a weapon. He smirks and mocks the priest again, saying he expected more strength from someone feeding off a dragon's power. The priest's last attack lacked power. He suddenly pulled the dragon girl from the crystal, warning Ariake to step back or she'd suffer. If all her energy was drained, her arms would rot and fall. Ariake agreed not to fight and said he'd turn off all his magic and skills as proof. He activated his nullification skill. The priest laughed, thinking Ariake was doomed. But then, the crystal fell and struck the priest, injuring his arm. Shocked, he couldn't understand why the crystal dropped his magic should have held it up. Ariake explained his skill erased all magic nearby, including the priest's. Pushing the priest aside, he walked to the crystal. The priest yelled that it couldn't be broken, but Ariake smashed it easily since its magic was gone. He gently placed the girl in a safe spot. When the priest told him not to touch his thing, Ariake snapped and told him to stop calling her that. After tying the priest up, he checked on the girl. She opened her eyes as he leaned in to examine her. Embarrassed, she backed away, blushing. She said she never thought someone would come to help and had nothing to repay him with. Ariake told her he didn't want anything in return. When she sees the priest, she angrily shouts at him, demanding how he could imprison her for 1,000 years and steal her abilities. She wants revenge and tries to get up, but her body's too weak to move. Frustrated by her state, she says she's useless now that her powers are gone. Ariake asks her what kind of abilities she had. She explains that to be considered a true dragon, there are 4 core traits: long life, fast healing, destructive power, and control over the skies. She doesn't know if a human can become a dragon, but dragons born from royal blood are said to have divine connections. She reveals she's a princess, the youngest daughter of the Dragon King, the most powerful being among dragons. But she was a disappointment. Her strength was lacking, she couldn't grow large, and stayed in a human-like form. Her clan rejected her, calling her a stain on their legacy. Eventually, she was captured, and her powers were stripped away. Now, she claims she isn't even a dragon anymore. Tears fall as she begs Ariake to end her life. She says she has nothing left, not even her pride. Ariake doesn't take her request seriously and taps her on the head with his finger, trying to comfort her. He reminds her why he came to rescue her, but she insists that even if her strength returned, she'd still be weak. Ariake decides to try something new on her. He wants to see if he can restore her lost powers and lift the curse that made her weak. As he speaks, a glowing skill circle lights up beneath her. The dragon girl looks shocked when he mentions a curse. Ariake explains that after checking her condition using his skills abnormality detection, perception, and concealment cancel, he discovered a rare curse had been cast on her. If he removes it, her powers should return. He just needs to do some backup work. He activates both remove curse and restoration at the same time, and also adds time acceleration to speed things up. The process is extremely painful for her. She starts choking, like something is coming up from deep inside, and then she suddenly collapses against him. To his surprise, she wakes up almost immediately. He didn't expect her to recover so quickly. As she opens her eyes, they both spot the source of the curse. It's a tiny creature, too complex for normal detection skills to notice. It's called an anti-dragon, a parasite that steals a dragon's power and erases their purpose for living. But it doesn't return to her, it jumps into the priest instead. That proves it. Once the curse is removed, it can't go back. She instantly feels her strength coming back. With her dragon healing ability, she recovers fast. Power surges through her, and she fires a blast that blows off the roof of the building. Thrilled by her strength, she happily calls Ariake her master. She shyly asks Ariake what he thinks of how she looks now. He stays quiet, which makes her a bit disappointed. She admits that she actually preferred how her body felt before getting all her powers back. Ariake responds gently, telling her that she was beautiful both before and after regaining her strength. Hearing that makes her blush a little. She then asks if he can check her status, and after she gives him permission, he does. What he sees leaves him speechless. Her magic and attack stats are insanely high. But what really catches his attention is a new title that appears, Divine Dragon Who Has Gained a Rider. He's not exactly sure what a divine dragon means, but one thing is clear: she's incredibly powerful. She explains that when a dragon forms a deep bond with someone, that person becomes a dragon knight, and the dragon rises in status too. But it's not a common thing, it's linked to gods and destiny. She doubts that just getting close to him could turn her into a divine dragon. Ariake wonders aloud if maybe it was him who awakened that divine power inside her. She nods and says she can sense a divine energy coming from him. That reminds Ariake of the god who appeared in his dream long ago, and it gets him thinking. Then he asks her why he's been marked as her knight. She answers simply they are destined to be partners. After that, they finally introduce themselves to each other properly. She tells him her full name: Colette Dubroises, daughter of the Dragon King. When she starts following him, Ariake tries to stop her. but it seems she's already made up her mind. Tears well up in Colette's eyes as she pleads with Ariake, saying he's her destined dragon knight and shouldn't walk away from her. Ariake gently tells her to return home now that her strength has returned, but she refuses. She explains she was exiled, and she suspects the curse was placed by someone from her own village. If she went back, they'd only treat her like a burden, especially with the Dragon King's election underway. Ariake listens in silence, considers her words, then agrees to let her stay. But he's already bracing himself. It won't be easy traveling with someone as beautiful as her. They're bound to stand out.